If selling on Amazon is one of the biggest goals you have in your life in starting a business like this, then watch this video as I go over one of the biggest mistakes new Amazon sellers will make in their Amazon career journey, alright? But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Be sure to smash the like button, drop a comment down below, let me know what you guys think, and as always, subscribe if you are interested in more Amazon FBA content. So, one of the biggest mistakes that I see, and I know for a fact a ton of new Amazon sellers will make in the beginning of their Amazon journey, is that they will go from business model to business model to business model. And what do I mean by this? So currently there are about 4 different methods of selling on Amazon. There's retail arbitrage, there's online arbitrage, there's wholesale, there's private label. And you know, when it comes to selling on Amazon, you usually start off with one or the other type of models, okay? Maybe you want to get into OA, maybe you want to get into wholesale, maybe you want to do private label because you have the money. But regardless, you choose the model and you end up taking that venture. Now, the biggest problem that a ton of new sellers will make in the beginning is that, you know, they'll give the business model a few days, a few weeks, a month or 2 max, and then they stop, pause because they didn't see that fast success in their journey quite yet. They didn't see 6-figure months right away. They didn't see $1 million in revenue in like 2 months worth of time. And so they get discouraged, they get disappointed, they go on social media, they see all the orange bars and then disappoint themselves because they're not hitting those, you know, marks right there. They're not hitting those milestones. And so when that happens, you tend to start switching up your mindset, right? You go from, oh, this isn't working. I put in some time, I put in some work. It's obviously not working. Let me go and try something else. So you end up doing OA and you go straight into wholesale, or you go from online arbitrage and you decide to do retail arbitrage. And so this is one of the biggest mistakes you'll make as an Amazon seller, because you need to be laser focused on one particular model and you need to actually give it the time and work that it requires to really grow that business model, okay? Now don't get me wrong, at a certain point you will realize if you like that certain model or you don't like it, okay? So maybe you decided to try retail arbitrage and you realize you hate going to stores, you hate driving around, you hate having to push carts, and so you switch to a different model like wholesale or OA. Or maybe you tried private label and you didn't like having to do all the manufacturing issues, and so you decided to do something like online arbitrage where it's a bit much easier. Now that's different, okay? That I can understand. You need to identify what you like, what you don't like. But as far as being laser focused on a particular model and actually liking it, you need to stay focused on it, because you need to give it the time, you need to give it the work that it takes to actually grow your business, okay? 90% of Amazon sellers didn't scale so fast, and if they did, they had a decent amount of money to start their business off with. And when I mean decent amount of money, I'm talking $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 even. They're able to hit a much bigger growth, okay? And versus everybody else who's, you may start with $500, $1,000, $2,000. And so your growth is going to be limited because you only have a certain amount of capital to work with, okay? Let's take, for example, the $2,000. If you have only $2,000 in capital to start your Amazon journey with, the max sales that you could probably hit is $4,000 to $5,000 a month in revenue in the next month, assuming that you spend all your capital on inventory and sell through it the next month, okay? And so realistically, you're not going to hit a 6-figure a month anytime soon with that startup capital, because for 6-figure months, you're going to need to spend at least $40,000 to $50,000 worth of inventory the previous month, and assuming that everything sells the next month. And so with that in mind, it gets very discouraging for some of you. And again, you go from OA or you go from wholesale and you decide to jump into something else. And then so when doing that, you lose your focus, you lose any little compound effect that you were having with that particular model. And because you're basically starting from scratch. Not to mention, going from business model to business model, you have to learn different methods. You have to learn different strategies, different game plans. So for example, let's say you start online arbitrage. You're learning the game of different sites, cancellation orders, prep centers, all that good stuff. But then you decide to quit and go into wholesale. Well, now it's a different ballpark because you're starting from scratch again. Because with wholesale, you actually have to contact suppliers. You have to Google suppliers. You have to drive around and look for suppliers. You have to go through their catalogs of thousands of different products. And so you're learning different methods too fast, too much, that you end up distracting yourself way too much, that you never give it the full focus that you needed to in order to actually succeed. I guarantee you, if some of you just took the time to stick to one model, gave it an actual few months, if not even a year max, you will see the growth coming. You will see the compound effect of your business growing really, really healthy. versus someone else who's just jumping from platform to platform to platform, from method to method, trying different things, and then just never having that focus. Because usually when people do that, going from model to model to model, and then blaming it on the model because it doesn't work, 9 out of 10 times they're gonna quit, they're gonna fail, they're gonna give up their Amazon business and then never do it again. Now, that's not me being negative, that's just the honest truth. And if you ask a lot of sellers out there who tried this Amazon business, I guarantee 99% of them tried this business for less than a year, quit because they didn't see that super fast success, and then they never started it again. So as long as you can avoid this mistake of jumping from method to method to method, you should be perfectly fine. You should be laser focused, give it the time, and reach out to other sellers, network with other sellers who are in the particular model that you're following, and that's another thing too, right? Is that you want to follow influencers, mentors who are in the model that you're in, right? So if you're doing wholesale, make sure you follow people who are doing wholesale. If you're doing online arbitrage, make sure you're following people who are doing online arbitrage. If you're doing retail arbitrage, make sure you're following those type of people as well, okay? And so on and so forth. Because following the wrong people will give you the wrong advice, and then you're just gonna be super confused, super lost, and then you're never gonna know how to exactly start up this business model, especially if you're following the wrong advice, okay? So doing all this, being laser focused, following the right people will keep you on the right track, and you will succeed if you're willing to put in the time, if you're willing to put in the work, put in the reps, and everything else in between. Literally just avoid this mistake completely, and you're like 90% above everybody else who decides to start this Amazon journey as well, okay? There's no need to overcomplicate it or anything. Just stay laser focused. If something doesn't work out, keep trying and trying, because everybody who was in your situation where they couldn't find any products, they couldn't find suppliers, they couldn't find websites, we've all been there. We've overcome those obstacles. We've made it happen. We've learned from those mistakes. And so if you can overcome all of that, again, you will be above 90% of everybody else who started this journey, okay? So literally just do that, avoid this mistake, and I guarantee all your focus, time, and energy will be well worth the sacrifice when you're finally hitting those 5-figure months, those 6-figure months, and who knows, maybe for some of you, those 7-figure months, right? So hopefully this advice was helpful. Hopefully, you learned something from it. And as always, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But as always, guys, that'll be it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.